Well, that was a long pause. I'm back after, what was it? Is it a week? It's more than oh, son of a bitch. That was, what is that? Is it a cat? Oh yeah, it's a cat. Is it a cat? Yeah, I think it's a cat. God damn. Well, that is a start to a video after we, Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go that way. I thought we were gonna go that way, but yeah. By the way, there's a sound coming from the left. It's really hard to, like, you know, okay, I'm gonna start talking now, and then Drake runs off. There's a new species, you know, calling from the left, and I should keep my script straight, you know. It's very, very, very hard to do. Okay, Drake's good. He didn't, the cat ran away, whatever that was. I think it was a cat. It was black. So that's good. That's good news. I was talking about the pause. I think it was more than a week. And I was just gonna joke, like, don't worry, I didn't quit. But maybe you were hoping I quit, and in that case, I have to let you down because I'm back. So yeah, yeah. I haven't made videos since not the last Friday, but the Friday before that, actually. And hold on, now it's pretty quiet. There's no cars. Let's see if we're gonna hear the call. No, not now. I'm gonna stop if it's gonna sound again. Ah. That one, you hear that? So that is absolutely amazing species. I'm so glad that it's here. I've been hearing it for the past 2-3 years. And it's awesome, you know. It's really, really awesome. It's becoming increasingly rare. It's been it's been way more common in the past, way more common, but unfortunately, you know, it became increasingly rare, probably because of the intensification of agriculture. But it's a really cool species, and it is a quail, and now common quail. Yeah, it's a common quail, and I don't really recall the Latin name, but of course it's going to be subtitles again. It is a common quail. Yeah, it's sounding out. It's a small, very tiny little bird. I mean, if you happen to know someone who was raising quail, you know, for eggs, and I guess for me too, and you've seen them up close, they're really tiny, small birds, and the eggs are tiny as well. So the common quails, I mean, those are some Asian type quails. They are some, I'm not sure if Japanese or Chinese or something, but these are like not very far off from that. Very small, tiny birds. And they do have this specific, very, very specific call that does not change. And we have a saying for that in Czech, which is, it sounds like pět peněz, pět peněz, pět peněz, pět peněz, which is like the tempo and the, you know, it exactly does have the sort of pattern. And but for English, I don't know if there's any kind of saying. Pět peněz means like 5 coins, you know, 5 coins. So it's like 5 coins, but it doesn't work in English, of course. It's the Czech version that sounds like it. And yeah, and it's a bird that has been very common, like many other like many species living in farmland and living in agriculture sort of habitats. It's been very, very common, but became increasingly rare. Just like Perdix, which is the larger sort of species. hold on, what is it called? Partridge. Yeah, gray partridge. Also quite common species back in the day, but now increasingly rare. I have actually seen one like 2 weeks ago somewhere. I don't recall where. It was on a field, and we were driving somewhere, and I saw it running across the field. But that's also very rare species. Oh, not like very rare, but much rarer than it used to be. And yeah, that's a male calling, and it's holding the same territory for a couple of weeks now. So it's definitely nesting somewhere there. And it's a species that's had a very troublesome path to its wintering grounds, because it's been just like Streptopelia turtur, which is a turtle dove. It's been hunted intensively in the Middle East, where they wait with guns. They hold on. They go nech, ja. Nech. Okay. They wait with guns. They wait with nets, and they extensively and intensively hunt the quails on their wintering sort of journey in autumn. So because of that, also because of that, yeah, by the way, that's true. Also because of that, they became increasingly rare, and the population has been quite decimated, because they're hunted on their migration, then they go back, and they don't really have an ideal habitat for them to nest. So it's like they're kind of attacked on two fronts, and the population suffers because of it. So yeah, that's just a little bit of an info on quail, and we've heard it as well. And that song, by the way, you hear it? So that song, on the other hand, it comes from the sky, you know, like, and we have one other bird that I was talking about that sings from the sky, not from the ground, not from a tree, but from a sky, and it stays there and sings there in flight. And that other bird was a woodlark, and now this bird that is singing is also a lark, but it's a skylark, and it's unlike quail and, for instance, woodlark. It's a very common species, but the interesting thing is that we haven't heard it yet, which I don't understand, because that's one of the birds that's like so common. You hear it by every field early in way before spring. It starts to sing like late February or something like that, and I am just surprised we haven't heard it yet. But that was it. That was a skylark. I don't recall the name. I don't recall the Latin name. So yeah, that was a skylark, and it's a very common species that actually probably one of the very few species that has not been impacted that much by the intensified agriculture, and it's doing quite well. I mean, it's like really very common species. At least here in Central Europe, you can hear it very often on many different places. And yeah, that's a skylark, and it also sings from the sky. And it's the difference between woodlark is that it doesn't really. The song is pretty stable. It doesn't go down like, you know, the woodlark is like it's like kind of starts somewhere and descends, and it's got these like steps. Woodlark stays in the same sort of tone, or sort of same pitch, and it's kind of like a little chaotic, chirpy song that doesn't really change in pitch, and it doesn't go down, quote unquote, or up. It stays there. So yeah, we gotta go here, Drake. So they mowed it here. I think we already seen that in one of the videos. I feel like. Reiko, tady jdeme, jo? Tady jdeme. So they already mowed it and even cleared the grass from here. And they also, as you could see, they also mowed the other meadow, which is great. So now we can walk through that. I still do not dare to go into the forest. I haven't been there so far with Drake. And yeah, but you know, we got this little round now, and we can go through the meadow as well. It's gonna be ideal until they mow this one as well, because I think there could be also some deers hiding. But yeah, I think some more time and we might be starting to get into the forest, and it's gonna be cool. I was talking about the pause I had because I stopped not the last week, but the week before that. On Friday I haven't made a video, and the reason for that is because we went on a trip, and I forgot to mention it on Thursday, but we already went on Friday, and we went there. We were on a trip for the whole duration of the weekend. And then the thing why I didn't start again in the following week is because Drake wasn't with us. We gave him to my girlfriend's parents, who are taking care of him, and they don't live close. So for like practical reasons, we sort of organized it in a way that we're gonna see each other again on Friday, where they're gonna bring him back, and then my girlfriend's gonna go out with them for a trip or something, and you know, but Drake's gonna be here. But that was Friday, you know. So what happened is that I was like, you know, I could go out without Drake, I guess, you know, and just turn on the camera and do the usual thing. But I don't know, I just didn't feel like it. And I was just like, you know, I'm gonna save some time, which I did save quite a lot of time, I gotta say. But I did miss the walks, I have to admit. Yeah, it was I did miss them. But I didn't go out. I just woke up, you know, I worked out, I took care of the hens, and then I started working, you know. So that was my mornings without Drake. And yeah, but he's been here since Friday, and now we're back again with these morning walk videos. And we've heard 2 new species, which is cool. Like, especially in June, it's like something you wouldn't expect. You would expect that all the species would already be sort of settled in, and there wouldn't be much to hear in the area that we've been walking through for the past, 4 months? Almost 4 months. So it's pretty cool, yeah. There's a skylark, and there's the quail. I love the quail. It's really, really amazing. But whenever I hear it, it's like, it makes me happy, because it feels like, okay, this area here is healthy, you know, at least to an extent that it draws in a quail, and we can still hear it from there. You know, it's the same thing with, and that's even rarer bird, and it's like, if you hear it, I don't know how is it in your location, even if you have that species, but a corn crake, yeah, that's like, if I hear that one, it's like that's I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled. But that's even rarer one, because it has even more requirements for habitat, and those are one of the requirements that are super incompatible with the way humans manage lands, you know. And the reason for that is because corn crake loves sort of a wetland-ish meadows. That means that if there's a meadow which has a spring or just water, you know, coming through, or ideally a spring, it loves when there is like where there's like a spring, literally water coming out of the ground at several spots. It absolutely loves that. So if you have a meadow that is like that, is the quail calling. If you have a meadow like that, and the water sits in there, and you have lots of like wildflowers, and you know, the whole meadow is kind of like wet and sort of wetland-ish, then there is the area where you will have a corn crake. But as it goes, unfortunately, with humans, it's very impractical for people to have water in their fields and water in their yeah, there we get the quail, water in their meadows and fields. So what was happening, especially in during the communist era, at least here in Central Europe, is that the people were drying these areas. You know, they were intentionally building canals and sort of tubes and pipes, and they were draining these fields and they were draining these meadows to get the water out into, I don't know, somewhere else, and that destroyed these very precious and very rare habitats, because it's very rare to have this kind of meadow. It's very, very rare. And nowadays even more so, because so many of them were destroyed because of these systems, these drying systems. And yeah, like corn crake, if corn crake doesn't have these, it just doesn't live there, because it doesn't have its required habitat requirements, really, and it just flies somewhere else. So that's why, like, I hear corn crake very rarely, and when I do, it makes me very happy, because that means, okay, there is a very healthy habitat here. And yeah, and corn crake has been very common in the past as well, just like quail, but now it's very it's an unusual bird, unfortunately. And by the way, something I've seen actually recently as well. You would think, oh, people don't do that anymore, but people are still drying out meadows and fields. And I've seen an example of that, 2 years ago, right over there by that road, just there where the tall trees are, the aspens, or whatever they're called. I think it's an aspen, a type of an aspen. So right there is a wetland, a natural wetland when water gathers, and there has been way more water than there is now, and there are reeds, and there has been ducks, and I've heard boars bathing in there, and that's where 3 years ago there was a Blythe's reed, I think it's Blythe's reed warbler, which is super rare bird for this country. And it was like, when I heard it and identified it and I collected images and recordings and all that, it was a third confirmed observation and sighting of the species in Czech Republic historically, you know. And that was there by the wetland, you know. How cool is that? But what they did is that they dug a canal, sort of a route or canal, draining canal for that particular part, and they've put like big fraction gravel and stones, and they connected with a sort of a drainage system that is leading underneath the street. And what that did is that it drained the wetland, you know, almost entirely, and there is like almost no water now, because whenever there is a rain, instead of the water collecting there, it just goes through the drainage pipe and it's just gone, you know. And that happened 2 years ago, you know. So unfortunately it's something that still happens these days. And it sucks, because wetlands are precious habitats that we should be cherishing, and we should be really valuing and protecting, and not destroying, you know, especially nowadays. Man, the wetlands are insanely important, the most important habitats that we have. And we should protect them, and we should make more of them, and we should restore some of them that we destroyed historically. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a I don't know, message for the end of this video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Quail? No, it's quiet now. I thought it's gonna say goodbye, but no, quail is quiet now. So see you tomorrow. I'm signing off.